Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm Big Al. We're going to try to pull the professor up here in a second. He's waiting backstage, but man, right here, right over there, is the one and only Robbie Mills. What's up, bud?
Howdy doody.
Chris Vant is here. What's up, Christopher? As always, brother, thank you for your support. Let's try to get the professor on here. Let's see if we can hear him this time. And we'll... Professor, you with us?
Is it working out?
No. I don't know. Ask Rob. Rob will tell you.
It a little bit better. Hearing more words than last time.
Yeah.
It must be because I'm in my car running data.
Are you driving? Is that what's going on, Keith?
Yes,
All right. Well, maybe when you get home, you could pop in.
that's the plan. I'll do that.
Okay. There you go. So, the professor will be back, Robert. But let's start with you, man. Let's start from the beginning, man. Like, where did your passion for wrestling come from? Because kids your age, I love to hear this because my kid got into wrestling back in the early 2000s. So he was like 5, 6 years old, and the big stars
Right.
back then were like John Cena, Randy Orton. Was it the same for you?
Yeah, like when I was like a baby, my mom really liked wrestling. Her number one guy was Stone Cold. So every time Raw or SmackDown or one of them would be on, as she's doing her mom stuff, she would turn it on. And as a kid, as a baby, you're hearing all the noises, the slams, and all that stuff. So generally, you look towards it, and ever since then, I just tuned in as much as I could.
And I mean, was there like a moment when you were older, like as maybe a teenager, perhaps, where you're like, I want to get involved with this somehow? Like, did that click somewhere at some point?
Oh, ever since I was like 5 or 6, and I was a John Cena kid. So from there, I wanted to get into it. And the key moment that set stone like this, I'm gonna go and attempt this, was probably when I watched WrestleMania 31, because that was the first ever WrestleMania I watched live, like on TV live on pay-per-view. And right there, it was set.
Well, so I got to ask you then. You know, as a Cena kid, how'd you feel about him turning heel?
I was at forget
What's
where
up, Mister
I was.
Shane?
I believe I
Mis-
was here at home when he turned heel, and I got the notification on my phone about him turning heel. And generally, I was kind of happy that he turned heel,
me,
because
me too. But go ahead.
as a kid, from when you're like 6 or 7, doing the whole "you can't see me" thing, I always knew him as like the hero coming in and saving at the last minute.
Yeah, Superman, basically.
Yeah, and then now that he's a heel, I can actually see him do his heel stuff, because I know he had like that whole rapping thing,
Right,
and
Doctor Thugonomics.
around that time, I was watching it, but not enough to like understand what was going on and what was
Well, let me tell
happening.
you, what happened there was that got him over. That Doctor of Thugonomics thing, the rapping.
Hmm.
Stephanie McMahon heard him rapping on a plane once, and she goes, "You rap? Yeah. Well, you should do that on TV." So then he started doing the whole on his way to the ring. Before the Acclaim did it in AEW, John Cena would come to the ring on his way and he'd rap
Hmm.
about his opponent on his way to the ring before he even had music.
Right.
And then he had music. He had the Word Life song, Basic Thugonomics, Word Life. And then that generally, like, he got over as a heel. I mean, he got over as a heel. He
Hmm.
was an over heel, right? If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
then that kind of morphed into what we see now. I mean, before the heel turn recently,
Hmm.
the this guy, that just kind of morphed into this big deal. And over the past 2 decades, he's been like one of the man. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Do you know Christina? She's saying
Yeah,
hey. Hi, Christina. Um. So back to you, man. When you decided, when you got old enough and you decided to get involved in the business, where did you start? How did that start for you?
I was at work and I was doom scrolling through Facebook, and SWO put up a thing on their page saying about wanting to be a wrestler. We have free tryouts. I saw it, thought about it. And I was like, well, I got work going on, second shift, late nights. I don't know. And then thankfully, my sister, she tagged me in that post telling me I need to do this because everyone in my family knew I liked wrestling. So I put thought into it. I was like, I liked it as a kid. Why don't I just go and do it and have it not be one of those I regret it later on down the line things? So that Thursday, I went to a free tryout at the barn at Wolfman's Training Center.
Wolfman, yeah.
And took my very first bump, very first roll, and all that, and knew right there, I'm gonna do it.
You
I'm
were hooked.
going, yeah.
So I mean, again, training under the Wolfman though, like a lot of times, and I've seen this. You
Hmm.
might try refereeing, you might try ring announcing, like you might learn different aspects of the business for you actually get in there and perform in front of like people. So for you, you kind of organically became a referee, and in my opinion, a damn good one.
Thank
Like,
you.
yeah, before you actually got in, got to jump in the squared circle as a competitor. So
Hmm.
talk about the referee thing and how that's not as easy as people think it is.
Now, the refereeing, like going into it with the idea of being a wrestler, I knew either way I was gonna be in front of the crowd. And the ring announcing, that was Mike's stuff. I'm not really keen on talking in front of a crowd at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to get into the ring in front of the crowd and get used to like the whole stage fright thing and all that. So I thought one of the key ways to do it is reffing. And I started reffing I remember this distinctly because I was terrified out of my mind the day of. My very first match I reffed was between Shawn Rollins and Suicide Myers at Thanksgiving Thunder. First match of the night.
How about that?
Yeah. They started out with a brawl and then I would run in, but the entire time I'm in the back, my heart is beating out of my chest. I'm terrified. I'm making sure I'm in my mind going, have authority, have authority, have authority, have authority. Over and over. I'm repeatedly going up to Zach, asking questions left and right. And he's standing there in the back with,
shout out to Zach.
yeah,
Shout
shout
out
out
to
to
Zach.
Zach. He helped me so many times with key points on reffing. But he's standing there watching the match, like getting ready to give me my cue to go out there. And he's trying to focus on that while giving me pointers at the same time. And then as soon as I went out to start officiating, everything just went like right into a circle. And crowd was like not even there. I was just focused on what was going on in there. But yeah, and then after that, it just felt like sitting at home watching TV.
It his influence because in the beginning, like the fans were like really booing you as a
Hmm.
referee, and then was it Zach Carlucci's influence that you got a little bit more animated in the ring as a ref? You also got more physical, like you would get step in between people who are breaking the rules, or you would get louder or get more, try to puff out your chest a little bit more and say, hey, I'm the law in here. You want to get disqualified, like stuff like that.
Yeah, it was Zach as well as everyone else that would watch. And also, whenever I would would get done and they would put it on YouTube, I'd go back and watch how I did and try to point out stuff that I could work on and do better. And then by the next show I'm reffing, I would work on that to make it more, like what you said, animated,
Mm-hmm.
more authority.
Has it always been just like 3WA and SWO, or have you been part of other shows elsewhere?
It's mainly just been 3WA and SWO at the current moment. I want to get at least a year, maybe more under my belt
As a wrestler?
before, yeah, before I start venturing out to other companies and stuff.
Yeah, because I could see you like in like a Three Legacies kind of situation, or because that's nearby you,
Hmm.
or even AXW, which is in Hamburg, which isn't too far away. Stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I like the idea that you're not in any hurry.
Hmm.
You're young, you're not in any hurry. So learn what you can while you can as your first year, and they say, and the professor will say this, he'll repeat this when he joins us, is that your first 5 years as a pro wrestler, you're a rookie.
Hmm.
It's not that first 6 months or that first year, it's that first 5 years. And not that you never stop learning after that, but I mean, that's just the way the business goes. If you've been doing this for less than 5 years in the locker room, they're like, oh well, he's new. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you start getting respect from your peers and things like that. But
Mhm.
then, so you make the switch. Talk about that first match as a wrestler. Yeah, right, here comes Robbie Mills, man.
Yeah, the very first match was with 3WA, and I went against Slim Whiskey. And before I came out as
That
Robbie
goes with this.
Mills,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but
okay,
that goes with this question, Chris. How did it feel stepping into that first match, being a wrestler, not a referee? But go ahead.
yeah, the first ever match was at a 3WA show at a school, I believe in Norristown.
Norristown
And
Middle School. I was at that show.
yeah, I came out as Robbie Salami.
Robbie
And
Salami. Was I ring announcer there? Yes.
I, you
Yes.
might have, I
Yeah.
believe
No.
so.
Yes. Yes. Because Donnie Bambino said, "Al, I'd like to introduce you to my cousin Robbie Salami in the back in the locker room."
Yeah, and to this day, I hate that name. That was the dumbest name ever. But yeah, that was very
Chris,
first match.
so Chris, you're watching, dude. So this is it, man. Like Donnie Bambino had a tag team partner who couldn't make it. All right, for a family issue or whatever, he just could not make it. So Donnie Bambino was scheduled to, I think, he was one half of the tag champions at the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he needed a partner. So he looks to Robbie Mills and he says, You're Robbie Salami. You're my cousin. You're from Little Italy. We're gonna go out there and kick ass."
Yeah, and that was the very first time I had to play a heel. And on top, that whole night was hectic as it was.
Yeah.
And I get hit with the, hey, guess what? You're in the ring, you're having a match, but you're a heel. So get ready for the leopard pants or cheetah pants or whatever them ugly things were. And you're
I
going as Robbie
remember, dude.
Salami. And I'm like, great.
And that
This
crowd was
is
hot. It was a lot of kids. There was a lot. I mean, I think there was like 250, 300 people there, and they were loud.
hmm
I mean, it was a hot crowd. I remember.
yeah, it was, don't get me wrong, I had fun. It was awesome working with Slim Whiskey. But
Yeah.
as soon as we walk through the curtain and I'm in that getup and I hear Robbie Salami, I'm like, I should just called in sick.
Professor, you were there for the call with Robbie Salami, weren't you?
Oh, I fucking loved Robbie Salami. I had Autumn Breeze cracking up. I was making veiled sock jokes. It was amazing.
And the amazing part, I watched back that night because it was
But
first
I'm sitting
match. I'm
there
like,
too, and I'm like,
like I
you should have worked
I
on your
still got the
hood though.
notification. I got the notification on YouTube about that night. I'm like, oh, I gotta watch it. I gotta see what it was like from the fans' perspective and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
and I hear Robbie Salami, and I believe it was Abdul on commentary also.
Yes.
Yes.
And one of the things he said was, "Wow, Nathaniel Cunningham looks a lot different." I'm like, why? Why?
Yeah, those motherfuckers had me cracking up.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
They were trying too. They were trying to break me, but I would not corpse.
That's good stuff, man. So you get through that match. I mean, and then talk about because that was your first match in 3WA. That was your first
Yeah.
match. Like, so talk about then that first match in SWO because I know even though you do perform at 3WA and you said
Mhm.
you're going to wrestle for a year before you spread your wings and go elsewhere between those two companies. Your heart lies with SWO. You were trained in the barn, the Wolfman. All your friends are there. So and Zach Carlucci was a big influence. So talk about your first match at SWO and how you felt. Because that was probably a big deal for you.
Yeah, first match, like official match with SWO was me, Merrick Miami against UCK. That one compared to my first match, I was a heck of a lot more comfortable. I was ready. I was excited. And as soon as we went out there and that bell rang, I was tunnel vision. I was focused. Like I honestly, I can't even describe what that whole night felt. All I remember was the first like little moment I had with Just Jay, and then all of a sudden it was I'm getting the pinfall and the whole crowd erupting.
Don't
Yeah,
tell me I said this, but that kid's pretty freaking talented.
Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome.
I'll deny it if he asks, but I'm just
right.
saying.
But yeah, he's got an it factor, and
Yeah.
he's got not just the it factor, but the talent to back it up. So yeah, Just Jay, I'm on that bandwagon too.
Yeah.
But I'm the president of the Robbie Mills fan club, so we're talking. I want to talk more about Robbie Mills. Well, and not. I don't mean to skip ahead here, but wasn't it a huge moment in Gauntlet for Glory when you eliminated Evan Atlas?
Oh my god, when I threw him out and the whole crowd like
They erupted.
yeah, lost it. And that moment I had in the ring, I was like, I just threw out the biggest guy here.
Yep.
I'm like,
It gave me goosebumps, dude.
And
I got goosebumps just thinking about it.
And he had a good 5 to 10 minutes too of just wrecking everybody.
He was wrecking everybody.
Shit out of everyone.
And he was bad mouthing Merrick Miami.
And David comes in and squashes and throws Goliath out.
Great first match. Was great to see it. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, during that, when I hit him with that cross body and just bounced off him, my foot brushed his face, and the first thing that popped in my mind was, he's gonna kill me.
You know what I said on commentary there at that moment, Rob? I said, it's like he high cross bodied a telephone pole, Professor.
Yeah. I think I said something along the lines of like Robbie Mills is about to die. Run.
It felt like that.
Get up here, Greg. I'm tired of hearing you say, man, I wish I could have been there.
He's a family man. He has responsibilities. You stop being a terrible influence.
Yeah, you're a professional wrestler, you know?
Yeah, I know. Family, these are things that need to be overcome. I've heard Ken spiel.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't mean to skip up to Gauntlet for Glory, but that was a moment that was like, there's been some Robbie Mills moments over the past year or so, but that was a moment for you, which I thought was cool. It was like a Maven eliminating the Undertaker moment kind of thing, It's like it was pretty cool. I love you. We love you too. I don't mean to yell at you.
Yes, it does.
Thundercat. There's a guy there's a brain you can pick, Rob. You should friend request him. His name is Greg Winters, and he is Greg Thundercat Cable. He's been wrestling for like 20 years. That's a good brain to pick. He's down in Alabama.
Yeah, he's very Southern style.
He's been doing this a minute, man. He keeps sending me his matches, man. It's like I swear to God, I'm watching like Bryan Danielson matches because like between the move set, his look, like the whole thing it's really Danielson esque, and he's like, but like he's, but he does. It's not a complete copycat or cookie cutter thing. It's because he's got his
Right.
own, shine to it.
Mhm.
But like, I love when he sends me those matches. I love it.
Mhm.
Absolutely great. Absolutely, I'd be glad to help any way I can. There you go. Friend request that man, Greg Winters. Got a
I
lovely
sure will.
picture. Got a lovely picture of his family here as his Facebook profile. All right, so let's go back then. You know, I remember Halloween time in October. You came out in 3WA with like a mask. You were wearing like a frog mask or something to that effect. You still have it?
Yeah,
He
Nice.
still has it.
right
Look at
here.
that. Yeah. Yeah. It was just you having fun, man. I mean, the fans are
Mhm.
really warming up to you in Quakertown too. You know?
You have a very organic underdog thing that's going, and it's really good to see because a lot of
Mhm.
places will try to force that and create
Right.
that, and then it doesn't work because people are like,
Mhm.
oh, you're programming me, I don't accept it. In your case, I think you have that organic feeling of the audience looks at you and is like, that could be me. If he can do
Mhm.
this, if he's doing this, I could be doing this. And you're kind of in that space of they're living vicariously through you. If that's what it feels like to me watching it in both
Mhm.
places.
Yeah, that's the. A lot of times when I watch like indie wrestling or TV, it's a lot of like the big, jacked, super athletic dudes coming down in the ring, and it's like, yeah, I can. If I work hard, I can get to that point, but I work Monday to Friday, a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's best just to put in the effort that you're capable of and not put on like the whole like I work out 24/7 and that whole thing.
It's you know what? It's almost like kind of what the Sandman had of like when you stop being the surfer and he stopped being who he wasn't and
Mhm.
he started being who he was and the audience connected with that. And I
Mhm.
think you're getting something similar. You are the nerdy Sandman. I'm coining it now.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not offended
trademark.
by that.
All right. Well, the thing is, though, Keith, and you'll agree with me too.
Already, though, I think you work better than he does. So, and I think he'll admit.
Well, I was just gonna say that it seems to me, and you and I have called a lot of his matches over the past year in both companies,
I think we've called
and
all of them. I've
well,
called
almost all of them. Yeah, well, I mean,
yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes I'm a ring announcer though.
yeah. I know. I was gonna say I've definitely called
But
all of them.
what I'm trying to say is that we have continuously put over the fact that the more we see him, the better he gets. So you
Yeah,
can see that you're putting the work in, Rob. Like you could see that what you did a year ago with, Miami against UCK versus what you did last month are two different things.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Speaking
Yeah,
of Merrick Miami, you're right here. He is. You've got heart. I see it. Just keep pushing and striving to be better. That's cool.
always. Yeah, like when I had my match against Damien Dante at the 44th anniversary show at 3WA, like if you watch that match and then compare it to like one of my tag team match I had with Miami,
Right.
it's
night and day.
legit like night and day.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're so
Yep.
much more confident. You're so much smoother. But you're working with some people that have been veterans now that are a little further
Mhm.
along. I'm not bad mouthing Damon. I like Damon. He retired now. Happy retirement to him. Um, I always liked him. I always liked talking to him. But you can tell when it's kind of green guys with green guys, and he definitely
Mhm.
wasn't very far along when he decided, I need to do something else or life is calling me in a different direction. And for you to be able to work with people like Merrick Miami, UCK, or not quite veterans yet, but they're pretty far along in their development.
Mhm.
Your SWO, you're just going to be veterans, all of that. And there's a lot of veterans in 3WA too. And I think you're doing the exact right thing right now. I don't think you need to worry about cosmetics right now. Promos promos you're gonna need to do in your back pocket at least for now, so that when the time comes, you're ready. But I think you're right in saying, like, I gotta build what I've got now, and I've got to sharpen and hone what I have now, and then I can build on that once that's developed. Because like I just said, you have that underdog vibe that is so hard to get over and to get promoted. It either works or it doesn't. In your case, it's working. So you can just ride that shit as long as it'll go and get better at your craft while you do it. You're in a good position, I think, with that.
All right, I got some comments in here. Christopher is, do you feed off the crowd? Do you prefer them cheering and getting behind you, or do you prefer them booing you?
I'm gonna sound like a cocky person, but 90% of the time, I don't really need to do much to get the crowd behind me. Because, like what you said, Professor, it's that underdog thing. As soon as I'm like getting beat on or something, it's like automatic. Oh shit, we gotta start.
You start coming back, and they start coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're living and dying with you. There's that organic feeling of like they're beating up our guy when you're going down, and then when you're shining back up, it's our guy is winning. Yes.
Progression is key. Be yourself. Be humble. Keep your head up and your ears open. Nate Vieira, it's official. We're getting you a Slim Jim, a Fago, and a kendo stick for your nerdy Sandman gimmick.
Look at what I've created.
What's first is I work with that dude, so he's probably gonna show up tomorrow with a Slim Jim and a Fago drink.
Wow. Roadblock Chad McCoy. Just like a young Roadblock, taking the beating and coming back at the end. Roadblock Chad McCoy took some beatings. That's what he's saying.
That whole era.
Yeah,
I just know him as the guy.
I missed the young Roadblock era. That's before my time.
Yeah.
He's gonna get me for that one.
Well, you didn't say anything truly stupid. I mean, if you really wanted him to come at you, you would have said something like, was electricity invented then?
Did they have lights? Did they have lights in the Q Mart back then?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so oh man,
I only came up with that joke because you told it to me off air once.
He's gonna see Rob. He wants me to die. That's the thing. Like he just wants me to go away.
I just want to see what would happen, if you connected with the Hands of Stone.
Well, there was a guy that had Hands of Stone named Ronnie Garvin. I remember him. Yeah. But anyway, Robbie Mills. So we already talked about the fact that you're not looking to like spread your wings. Like you don't want to move too much out of SWO or 3WA for about a year. So how does that look like for you? Like, do you see that happening in 6 months down the road or a year down the road where you might like kind of get your feet wet somewhere else?
Yeah, at most like give it 6 months, because I even had other people that run their own shows that wrestle with 3WA like asking me to go to their shows and
like maybe New Era.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense.
He's always blowing up my phone.
Yeah. They
asking me to go to his shows.
As bad as that would be for the boys, though, that would be an ambiance, though. If you just wrestled with nothing but lantern light, I mean, it would be horribly unsafe. Nobody should do it. Don't take that as an idea, but just the visual of it before it actually happened and everyone got horribly injured.
I'm gonna have nightmares of Chad McCoy wrestling like JT Cage with nothing but like lanterns.
And then they just turn and they look at you and it becomes like your own personal horror movie.
It's like a Nosferatu moment where I'm about to get killed. Like,
yeah. I enjoyed this newest remake. I just saw it the other day. It was excellent.
I have not seen it yet.
Oh, the reviews did not undersell it. It is excellent.
I want to see it. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so how much do you absorb though, Rob? Because like we talked about in the beginning of this, when
Mhm.
before the professor came on, was a lot of your influences and a lot of people your generation because you started watching wrestling in the early 2000s. So Cena, you were a Cena kid. How
Mhm.
much do you absorb these days though? Like, do you watch Raw on the regular? Do you go back and watch some stuff before your time and study some of that stuff too?
It's a little bit of both, I guess, because of me working, like I can't watch it live, so a lot of it's on YouTube. But no, yeah, I am a sponge. I'm always going back to like the Hogan era and
Yeah.
picking up different like characteristics from there, as well as current, and figuring if it would fit with my, I guess you could say, underdog status.
You know who you need to watch with what you're doing currently and your build and everything else? You need to watch some Ricky Morton, especially Ricky Morton selling. If you can
Okay.
learn Ricky Morton selling, you will make money and you will probably also get the ladies because the ladies love that
That's
sell.
just the side. That's just the side effect.
Yeah, that's the side effect. That's the nice side effect. Like, oh, I got the money and ooh, look at the line of girls out the door.
I
Yay.
thought you were gonna say Spike Dudley there, Professor,
I
but
mean, Spike Dudley to a degree, yes, but I also feel like Robbie isn't going to have to do half of the insane shit
right.
that Spike
Thankfully.
did to himself. Yeah, to get that reaction.
Hmm.
Where I feel like if you go back and you watch like Ricky Morton, especially the way Ricky Morton took an ass kicking and sold
Right.
the ass kicking, and if you can internalize that and bring it in, because like I say, I see it from my vantage point of calling the match, but I'm also trying to listen to the crowd and watch what the crowd's doing and how they're responding to you guys, so that can help me inform what I need to do and where my emotional register needs to go. And like I say, when you're getting beaten down, they're with you. They're feeling like this is
Hmm.
our guy getting beat up. And when you shine back up, they're with you. They're with you on the comeback, and they're like, he's fighting back for all of us. Like, so the more you can, when they're getting the heat on you, the
Hmm.
more you can emphasize the heat and then go to a shine, the better the shine is going to be, I think.
Okay. The better the shine, the better the crowd's behind.
Right.
Well, man, you're getting a lot of support here tonight. This is
Yeah,
great.
no,
Spike was
nobody should
insane. I doubt he'd recommend half the stuff he did.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he said like that was for me. I was nuts. Don't do as I did.
Like I'm always down to learn new tricks and stuff, but if you want me to dive off a balcony through a table or something, it's hard no.
So
Yeah,
what? So what? You have worked on the finish though. I mean, you've tweaked it here and there. So like, are you still working on that? Is it a work in progress or like?
Like the ender to the matches and stuff.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. Like when the way you want to put somebody away, you're like your finish.
Yeah, right now I got the Superman punch, and I'm currently, like what was stated earlier, I'm going back and forth, like finding stuff that would actually work for me and my whole underdog thing.
It's got to be. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be believable. I think the best finishes are always. It's believable that you can do it. It's
Hmm.
believable it's going to put the guy away. And if you can make it something that doesn't require a hell of a lot of setup that you can kind of catch from nowhere, think about like the RKO, think about the stunner, very minimal setup for that. Um, the what is it? The attitude adjustment now, the attitude adjustment, you just snatch a motherfucker and go. Like those finishes get over because you can hit them from almost anywhere. They're quick, they're impactful, and the guy doing it is believable when he does it, and it's believable that when he's done and he's hit somebody with it, they're going down for at least the 3 seconds
Yeah, but you could
necessary to
watch like
end
some
that thing.
early. You could watch also go back and watch some early Sean Waltman there, Rob. Like some early X
Yeah,
Pac 1 2 3 kid when he was the 1 2 3 kid and he upset Razor Ramon one time on Raw. Go back and watch that match. If he was the ultimate underdog too for a while there. That was his gimmick before he morphed into X-Pac.
Right.
That was his gimmick. That the ultimate underdog.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could come out to Kung Fu Fighting, as I once heard he used to do on WCW house shows.
Yeah, the Bronco Buster. There you go, Nate. Right
Yeah.
there. You could totally end the match with the Bronco Buster, or do the face plant that face plant between the legs. Because then you're not lifting a dude up that's like twice your size on your shoulders to give him an AA.
Right. I mean, and I was just using things like the AA as an example of like quick, impactful, believable that it ends it. But for you, something like that right now probably isn't going to look great, especially if you're, trying to call that with Evan Atlas and being like, hey, Evan, let's do this. Like,
I got one for you, Rob.
It's going to look cooperation as hell.
I one time pitched to Merrick Miami that he named his finisher Welcome to Miami. It's that running Shining Wizard kick he does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now to this day he calls it Welcome to Miami. So how about the Mills soul drop kick, where you drop kick him off the top ropes? It's a missile drop kick.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the Mills soul drop kick. And you just drop kick him right in the face. 1, 2, 3, done. Game over. It's simple.
The only thing about that though is you want to be careful with top rope moves as a finish, because this is something you're going to do night after night, and a lot
Chris
of
wants him to do. Chris wants everybody to do the Seth Rollins stomp because he's the only one that does it. He's already Roman Reigns in it out there, Chris.
Curb stomp is impactful, and it might be believable for Robbie.
But he's doing the Superman punch right now, which is cool when he does it because he's usually smaller than his opponent, so it looks cool when he jumps up and punches the guy in the face.
Yeah,
especially as someone as tall as Vertigo.
Right.
Yeah, that was definitely something.
Do a step up insecurity and call it the windmill.
If you could get enough snap on it.
I love that.
If you could get enough snap on it to really make it look like you take the motherfucker's head and kick it into a second row, it's not
windmill.
a bad idea. That's a pretty good idea.
I freaking love it, man. That's great. That's good stuff.
I mean, it's all about how you make it look and how you sell it. Mm-hmm.
All right, you grew up a Cena kid, so who are your influences these days as a competitor?
Jesus. Man, I don't know. I mean, once Cena left for Hollywood, I started going towards Matt Sydal with this whole like doing all them flippy doos and stuff like that. But right now, I want to go to bed anyway. I don't really have one currently.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, like, I just asked that because, like, Cena, like you said, Cena's kind of a part-timer, and he's back for this final run, and he turned heel, and you said you were watching that. You got a notification on your phone or something like that that he turned heel, and you were happy about it, which a lot of people were happy about it, and so being a longtime Cena fan like you were, why were you happy about it?
Because when you're a kid, he's like Superman. Like, no, I don't want my John Cena getting beat up, or you want to jump through the TV and attack the dudes that are beating him up and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when you get older, it starts to get old, and Cena's in the main event. He's probably gonna go over and win.
Right.
And then out of nowhere, he hits Cody with that, and it's like, finally, something new.
Something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're breaking the formula.
Yeah, and it was a shock value of it. I mean, the fans were like, the looks on their faces. It's real hard in this day and age, with kayfabe not being what it used to be, and all these things that you see on the internet and all the behind the scenes stuff that we already know about. It's harder and harder to shock the fans.
Yeah.
I was legit shocked I've been watching this shit for 40 years plus. I was legit shocked when John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes in the nuts. I was like, what? One of those deals. Like, and it was cool, but that was the point, right?
Yeah. I could have done without some of the build up, but I get it. That's what they do.
Have you thought maybe someday doing tag team wrestling, or do you just want to stay singles?
Jeez,
Good
I'd like
question. Good
to.
question. Chris has been putting you on the spot tonight, man.
Yeah.
With his questions.
Lately I've been doing a lot of like tag team oriented stuff.
Yeah, you got one coming up. We were just talking about it at the next SWO this Saturday. You're in a 6-man match with the Prophets of Sin.
Yeah,
So,
both have their pros and cons. Doing singles, you're putting a lot more work in. You're putting a lot more of that umph in. With tag team, there's a lot of times where you just want to get in there, not stand on the apron cheering. It's good to cheer on your tag partner, but a lot of times it's just like, I want to get in, I want to go, I want to do it.
right.
But it's also good for tag matches because it gives you that time to rest and build and do crowd work also to help the crowd get behind your guy.
And then you get that hot tag and you get that Superman shine going. Fun times.
So it's good and bad. There's good things and bad things to both.
But if I had to choose, I'd probably go singles. Currently, down the line, I'd maybe dabble into tag team matches, and if I find the right one that won't turn on me, obviously.
That is a big problem in tag team wrestling. Is so many people are just not trustworthy.
There is a lot of people. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but a lot of people want me and Greg Manuel to tag because we could do the twin magic. Because supposedly we
you
look
guys are
alike.
related. Have you heard this rumor, Professor?
I think I've heard some rumblings of this. I don't see it myself.
Greg Manuel and Robert Miller are related in some way, but they just aren't.
Is this like? Well, no, this can't be like Woody Harrelson, Matthew McConaughey, because they have some. Evidence behind that.
They have legit evidence.
DNA test. Yeah.
I want a DNA test. I want DNA from both.
I read today they're talking about they're probably going to do it.
I want Mr. Moore or Mr. Castle to orchestrate this thing for the SWO. We need a DNA test that Greg Manuel and Robert Mills.
I certainly would like Mr. Moore to pay for it because I always enjoy when Mr. Moore pays for things, especially when he doesn't realize he's paying for them. That's always fun.
That's not very nice.
Have you seen what I've been dealing with the last year since?
I've been sitting right there next to you in the broadcast table.
You have, over the last couple of months. Have you heard all of it since he decided that his investment bought him a color commentator spot?
Give him red and green hats. Call him Greg and Rob Manuel. Give him red and green hats, and the rest writes itself. He's talking Mario Brothers. It's like Mario Brothers. Holy hell. Oh, man.
With friends like Nate.
They're going to do it. Yeah, they're going to do a leapfrog. They're going to do a leapfrog clothesline where, Greg gets down, Rob frog jumps.
When they tag in and out, they can go, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Talk about this week. We return to Red Lion on Saturday, brother. How you feeling about this up and coming event? It's been a minute since they've been at that location. Notwithstanding, they have been in Red Lion at the church and whatnot, but this is the firehouse. This is the old stomping grounds. So how do you feel about being part of this event, and how do you feel about your partners and your opponents?
I'm excited for it because when they put the picture of the last time they were there on Facebook, I was looking at the picture and I ended up finding myself in that picture when I was a fan in the crowd.
How about that?
Oh, wow.
So it's completely mind-boggling at the fact that I was a fan the last time they were there, and then now that they're returning, I'm walking through that curtain at the place. I was like, holy crap. Last time they were here, I was sitting with everybody watching the show, and now I'm performing in front of everybody. So it's like, I can't even describe the feeling of the fact that, holy crap.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So your partners are against the prophet. You're against the prophets of sin, and who are your partners
Mhm.
again?
It's Ace Dallas and Sean Rollins.
It's good
And
company.
they've had their issues with the prophets of sin.
Our whole locker room, frankly, has had our issues with the prophets of sin. You come in here and you declare war on our locker room, open season on all of us. I mean, there's no other way to say it, Robbie. You're fighting for the honor of SWO. Your team SWO. And I know I'm supposed to be non-biased and all that, but
Mhm.
damage. Every time they're in there, do damage on every single one of them.
Yeah, but what about
they want
Professor?
to they want to
Wait a
seek and
minute.
destroy us? There you go, right back at you, boys.
What about Benny Slater's claim that one of SWO's is already theirs?
True.
I want to say that it's not true, that it's just Benny Slater playing mind games, but at the same time, I would have never suspected Django. I would have never suspected Suicide Myers.
No. I
I would have
expected
never
those two,
suspected
but
Kimberly
Kimberly Spirit was the one I had. That was out of left field.
Yeah, I would have never suspected any of them were capable of this, or Tommy
Well, look
Beck,
at that.
anybody.
Ooh, he's pointing to Rollins. Rollins can't be trusted.
I don't believe that.
The Daredevil. All right. Well, I don't know. Man, you got your hands full, Rob. So good luck to you this week in Red Lion. Big 6-man tag as part of the return to Red Lion. And fans, if you've never been to an SWO show, I urge you, come on down to Red Lion. Look at the SWO Facebook page for information on all the matches that'll be happening there. Matt Vertigo, the former Unlimited Champion, is back. What kind of chaos is he going to cause? Who knows?
Maybe
Professor
he's
and I will be there at commentary. And Rob here, you want to see Rob wrestle, man? It's Robbie Mills, and it's Ace Dallas, and it's Seth Rollins against as the professor would put it, pieces of shit.
Maybe Vertigo is part of the Prophets of Sin. That's why he's showing up that night.
God, I hope not.
Maybe, man. Can you imagine that? I mean, how much would their stock rise?
I don't.
Literally.
Know. As fractured as our locker room,
I can't wait till Saturday either, man. I can't wait till Saturday. Saturday, the professor and I will be at the commentary table, and we'll be calling the matches for return to Redline. And how about I'll get a prediction out of you, Rob. The finals of the Jeff Becker Memorial Tournament.
Huge.
We got General Kiesel and Tim Rush.
I want to go General Kiesel on that one.
You know what?
He's in a whole different league.
I sent him a message. I sent him a message earlier this week, and I said, it'd be pretty sad for a event that was called Return to Red Lion with all the Star Wars shit in the background and all that stuff on all the posters, and you lose, and you're General effing Kiesel, and you lose in an event called Return to Red Lion. That'd be pretty sad. And he put a bunch of laughing emojis my way. That's all. That was the only reply I got.
Yeah, I'm not too Team Tim Rush because he popped my balloon at the qualifying.
He did pop your balloon.
Yeah, so I don't like Tim Rush right now.
Tim Rush is the kind of guy that would throw at his kid in a father-son game.
Oh man. Anyway, it's gonna be happening. And of course, Zach Belmont, the Unlimited Champion, is defending against the winner of the Gauntlet for Glory, and that is Just Jay. And we talked about him earlier, Rob. You've tangled with him once or twice in the ring before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I'm kind of hoping Jay doesn't win.
Well, I mean, Zach Belmont said it himself at the last show. I don't know if everybody heard it. He didn't have a microphone in front of him, but I heard it. He was close enough to me. He looked Jay dead in the face and he said, "Here's the difference next time, Jay. You can't hide under the ring from
That's
me.
correct.
There's no hiding now. He's got to stand and he's got to fight. And he's got to fight a very motivated SWO Unlimited champion."
So fans, get your butts to Red Line, man. It's going to be a happening. That's this Saturday. Doors open at 6:00. Oh no, not your balloon.
Again, so it is kid, father-son game.
Robbie,
That's
is
the
there?
name of the game is.
We're winding this down, brother. Is there anything that we have not talked about that you would like to talk about or promote or anything like that that we haven't covered?
No, right now nothing's coming to mind. We knocked all of the key points.
I mean, are you going to be in Quakertown next Saturday then?
Yeah, I'll be at Quakertown.
So there you go, guys. If you haven't seen Robbie Mills wrestle, he will be at Red Lion this Saturday for SWO. He will be at Quakertown at the Q Mart next Saturday. Doors open at 6 p.m. also there. And the professor and I will be there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's lots of wrestling to be had in your area, guys, here in Pennsylvania. You find it, it's out there. And Robert Mills has arrived, Professor, has he not?
He absolutely has. Robbie Mills is getting there, and it is an honor to be able to say that I've called every match you have had professional. I cannot say that about any other wrestler.
There you go.
And it has been a fun ride so far, and I echo what Miami said. You know, you've got the heart, and as long as you stay with this, you've got something. You've got a connection with that audience. And I can't wait to see what happens. I have a good feeling about what the future holds.
I can't wait till see him hit Benny Slater with the windmill. That'll be fun. Remember that? The step up insecurity right here, the windmill.
I'm telling you, I like it.
Professor, you're calling it the windmill. If he step
If
up
he does
insecurity,
it,
he's
it's
Benny Slater.
windmill.
That's one thing. Whenever someone asks me what's it like doing wrestling and being all that, I always tell them it's amazing. It's the best thing ever. But the worst part is when you come up with an idea that sounds amazing and then someone chimes in with another idea. So you have like a whole like Harry Potter book full of all these ideas you want to use, but then you got to sort it down to one.
Right.
And then there's the times that they think that we're all seriously talking about this stuff and that it's like a college level dissertation. And it's like, no, it's just two guys talking about jerking off or something in the back. And all of a sudden, you know, we got, hey, what if we did this? Yeah, that sounds good. And that's your name. That's your gimmick. That's your finish. That's whatever for the next 40 years. It just came out of like, hey, you think that would be good? Yeah, let's do that. There's no magic. You think there's this magic, wonderful origin story? And it's like, no.
And Rob, you know,
two idiots.
Just when you think you got it all figured out, they changed the questions. You know what I'm saying? So a much wiser man than me said that once. But anyway, man, we love having you. We're gonna keep an eye on you, and back in another 6 months or a year, we'd love to have you back. See how you're doing. See how you feel. See if the passion's still there, the drive. Usually when we have people on for the first time, it's just to get to know you and how did you get started in the business thing. I don't want to hit you with the hard questions like, do you see yourself doing this for a living or something like that? Because you're just getting started. So as the professor will tell you, you're a rookie for 5 years. But we're behind you 1,000%, man. I can't wait to see what happens next with you. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch. The magic is in the moment. I want to thank Nate and Chrissy and Christopher and Greg and Merrick Miami and everybody that chimed in tonight, man. That was a lot of support, a lot of love for Mr. Mills here. We even had a what's up from Mr. Ping himself, Shane Sanchez, earlier. That was kind of cool.
I love our community.
It's kind of awesome, and it's growing. It's growing. And speaking of growing, If you have not yet, please subscribe to our channel. Please like our videos. Please share out our stuff. I will reshare this right after we're done live with Rob. And we are on here each and every Sunday night at 7 o'clock. We were an hour late tonight.
Yeah, don't have children, everybody. Don't have children, don't have friends, don't have friends with
stuff
children.
happens, but
Just causes
man,
problems.
every Sunday night we are here with a new guest, and we love talking wrestling with the new guest and seeing who who and what and who they are and where they want to go with this business, because we all are watching this right now and we're all doing this right now because we love professional wrestling. In the meantime, Professor, you got any parting gifts for Robbie Salami?
I mean, I think I kind of mentioned them, just stick with it. It's a blast. We're working the same shows. I see you every month. It's always cool to hang out and chat and watch you do what you're doing and be a small part of it. Hopefully I'm helping get you to where you need to go and where you want to go, and stay at it, man, and watch some Ricky Morton. Get that shit in your repertoire. I'm telling you, it'll be next level.
Rob, you got the final word, brother. Go ahead.
Just thank you guys for letting me be on the show.
Sure.
Thank you to everyone that commented and kept the conversation going.
Went fast.
And if Nate, if you're still watching, Cotton Candy Fago and just a regular Slim Jim.
Cotton Candy Fago and a regular Slim Jim, Nate. All right, you got that.
And
you're doing that shit at a show now, just so you know. There will be a show where you will fucking do. You know what? One of these Halloween shows, either 3WA or SWO, that's your Halloween costume.
Snap into a Slim Jim, brother. Yeah.
I'm calling it. We're doing
we got one last that you got it right there. It is. Last comment right there. It is under the wire. All right. For the Rob, don't go anywhere when we go off the air. For the Professor and Robbie Mills, I'm Big Al. This was Around the Turnbuckle. We'll see you guys next Sunday, right?
You think you know me?
Oh, yeah. If you smell